Some days it feels like life is pressing down on you from every direction. You wake up already tired, already behind, already questioning whether you can make it through another day of pretending to be okay. But what if the heaviness you feel isn't punishment? What if it's preparation? There is a reason your soul feels weighed down right now. You are not weak. You are being strengthened. What feels like pressure is actually shaping. What feels like delay is divine timing at work. Life is not against you. It is sculpting you into someone who can hold the blessings you once prayed for. Think of the seed buried deep in the dark. From the outside, it looks like the end. But underneath the soil, life is beginning. The shell is cracking open so something greater can emerge. That breaking, that pressure, is the birth of transformation. You are that seed. This heaviness is your ground opening. You may not realize it yet, but you are outgrowing old versions of yourself. The relationships that drain you, the habits that no longer serve you, the self-doubt that kept you small, they are falling away. It hurts, because even what limits us can feel familiar. But the soul cannot expand and stay comfortable at the same time. When life feels heavy, it is asking you to slow down and listen. The exhaustion is a signal. Something inside you is ready to change. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" ask, "What is ready to be released?" This shift in question turns suffering into healing. Every thought creates. When your mind is filled with fear, the world feels unbearable. But when you choose thoughts of trust, the same world begins to feel lighter. The outer heaviness always mirrors inner resistance. What you release in thought, you release in body and life. Say softly, "I am willing to let life get easier." Feel that sentence ripple through you. You don't need to know how. Willingness is enough. The universe rushes in when you declare readiness. Relief begins the moment you stop fighting your own unfolding. There's a strange beauty in the heaviness. It slows you down long enough to notice yourself again. When everything feels too much, your soul is whispering, "Come home to me." The pain is not here to destroy you. It is here to return you to your truth. You are remembering who you are beneath the noise. Perhaps you've been strong for too long, carrying everyone, fixing everything, hiding your own breaking. But strength is not about never falling. It's about letting yourself rest when you do. It's realizing that even collapse can be sacred if it brings you closer to peace. You've been taught to push through, to keep it together, but maybe what you need isn't more pushing, it's permission to pause. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, place your hand on your heart and whisper, "I am safe even when I slow down." Feel how your body softens at those words. The weight you feel often comes from resistance, resisting endings, resisting change, resisting the unknown. Yet the moment you stop resisting, peace begins to rise. Like air trapped underwater, your joy is waiting to float back to the surface. All you have to do is stop holding it down. Life is not asking you to have it all figured out. It's asking for your trust. The same intelligence that spins the planets also governs your path. You don't need to control everything to be safe. You only need to remember that you are guided, always, especially when you feel lost. Repeat with me, "I trust the process of life." Again, "I trust the process of life." Say it until it becomes an anchor. Every repetition builds calm within you. The body listens, the mind listens. Even the storms begin to listen. That's how peace finds its way back in. Sometimes the heaviest moments are the most sacred. They strip away distractions and show you what truly matters. They humble you, yes, but they also prepare you. You cannot carry your next chapter with the same hands that clung to the last. That's why the letting go hurts. It's making room for more. Look back for a moment. Remember every time you thought it was over, and yet you rose. Remember every heartbreak you thought would end you, and how somehow you laughed again. You have survived what you once believed impossible. You are proof that endings are never endings at all. The heaviness will not last. Nothing does. Every night gives way to dawn, and every storm eventually clears. But when it clears this time, you will not be the same. You will rise softer, wiser, more compassionate. You will carry light where pain once lived. That is the gift of this season. So do not curse the weight you feel, thank it. It is revealing your strength. It is teaching you patience. It is guiding you back to balance. You are not being buried, you are being planted. And the soil that feels so heavy now will soon nourish your growth. Whisper to yourself, this is not breaking me, it is building me. I am not lost, I am being guided. I am not ending, I am becoming. Let those words wrap around you like a blanket. They are truth, not poetry. You are rising even now in ways you cannot yet see. You do not have to force your healing. Just stay open, stay gentle. Keep choosing love over fear, trust over control, faith over panic. Life will do the rest. The heaviness is not here to defeat you, it's here to remind you of the light you've always had. And one day soon, when you look back on this chapter, you'll whisper, it was all worth it. Because you will see what this pain gave birth to, a stronger, freer, more radiant you. The weight will lift, and in its place will stand someone who finally knows their power. The heaviness is not forever. It is the stretch before flight, the ache before expansion, the silence before the song. So breathe, trust, let go. You are not falling apart, you are rising higher. Life is not breaking you down, it is building you into everything you were meant to become. There were seasons in my life when even breathing felt like effort. The air seemed thick with invisible weight, and I often wondered if life had forgotten me. Everything I tried fell apart, and I thought the heaviness meant I had done something wrong. But later, I saw it differently. Each burden had been a teacher in disguise. I learned that life never punishes, it prepares. What feels like pressure is often the shaping of our inner strength. Just as a seed must push against the darkness of soil to find the sun, we too must press through the heaviness that surrounds our becoming. The soil is not the end, it is the beginning. Heaviness, I discovered, is sacred. It slows us down long enough to notice what we have ignored. It invites us to surrender what no longer serves, to rest from endless striving, to listen to the quiet voice within. When life feels too heavy to bear, it is often because the soul is ready to shed what it has outgrown. I used to think exhaustion was failure, that tiredness meant weakness, but exhaustion is wisdom's whisper saying, my dear, it's time to stop fighting. The body in its tenderness always tells the truth. When we can no longer move forward through willpower alone, we are being called to move through faith. There were times when I begged the universe for lightness while clinging to what weighed me down. I didn't realize that I was holding the very thoughts that created the heaviness. Life could not take the burden from me because I refused to release it. I was afraid that without the struggle, I would have no purpose. But life does not ask us to struggle for meaning. It asks us to allow meaning to reveal itself. The more I surrendered, the more strength I found. Not the kind born of pushing, but the kind born of peace, the quiet strength that grows when we stop resisting our own becoming. Heaviness is often the soul stretching. It feels uncomfortable because we are expanding into a larger truth. We are being prepared to hold more love, more compassion, more wisdom than before. Every ache is the sign of something inside us growing stronger. I remind you now, dear one, you are not being punished. You are being prepared. You are not falling apart. You are falling into alignment. The heaviness you feel is the weight of wings forming beneath the surface. Soon you will rise. I remember one night when I sat alone in my room, after everything I thought I could depend on had changed. I felt lost, frightened, heavy, but somewhere deep inside, a calm voice said, "This is not the end, it is the beginning." That whisper became my anchor. Each time I returned to it, peace found me again. Spiritual growth rarely feels gentle at first. It feels like loss because the soul cannot expand without releasing the familiar. We shed not only relationships and roles, but beliefs, fears, and identities that have kept us small. It hurts, yes, but it hurts because we are being stretched toward freedom. When life asks you to grow, it does not do so through comfort. It does so through contrast. You feel the tension between who you were and who you are becoming. That tension is creation itself. The discomfort you feel is the divine sculpting the shape of your new life. I invite you to look at your heaviness differently now, not as a punishment to escape, but as a sacred labor to be honored. You are birthing a truer version of yourself. The weight you carry is the force of transformation pressing from within. Say softly, I allow life to strengthen me. This weight is teaching me how to rise. Notice how your breath shifts when you say those words. Each time you affirm your willingness, something within you loosens. Resistance amplifies pain, but willingness transforms it. The moment we stop demanding that life be easy and begin trusting that life is wise, the burden becomes bearable. I once believed that strength meant enduring everything in silence. I carried my struggles like medals, proof that I could survive anything. But true strength is not about carrying more, it is about knowing when to set things down. It is the courage to rest, to say, I cannot do this alone, and allow life to help. The divine never asks us to prove our worth through suffering. It asks us to remember our worth so we can stop suffering unnecessarily. Each moment of surrender is a declaration of trust. I am willing to let life guide me. And in that willingness, the weight begins to lift. I remember slowing down one afternoon, after months of chaos, simply to breathe. I closed my eyes and whispered, I trust you, life. It felt awkward at first, almost naive. But then, in that stillness, something shifted. I felt a warmth rise from my heart, and in that warmth was peace. Trust had opened a door that control had kept shut. The more I trusted, the more I saw how divine order was always working on my behalf. What I called delays were actually protection. What I called endings were redirections. Life was never punishing me, it was guiding me toward what I truly needed, even when I couldn't see the reason. So I learned to bless what felt heavy. I began to see the weight as holy. Every difficult season became a teacher, every pause a preparation. Life, in its perfect wisdom, was sculpting me into someone who could hold more light without breaking. Heaviness, I realized, is the universe saying, slow down, my child. Let me reshape you. We rush through life so fast that we forget to listen to our own becoming. But heaviness anchors us to the moment where transformation happens. It reminds us that growth is not found in constant motion, but in surrender. Say softly with me now, I allow life to strengthen me. Again, this weight is teaching me how to rise. Feel how your body responds. Each repetition is a permission slip to your soul, a signal that it can finally release its tension and trust the process. There is no need to rush your healing. Even the sun takes time to rise. The dawn does not tear the night apart. It simply unfolds. In the same way, your transformation is happening gently, even when you cannot see it. The heaviness will not last forever. It is the shadow before light. Think of the caterpillar. Within the cocoon, it must dissolve completely before it can become the butterfly. That dissolving looks like death to the old form, but it is life to the new one. The same is true for you. The parts of you that can no longer serve your highest good are melting away. When you feel weighed down, ask yourself, what if this is not breaking me, but remaking me? Every challenge carries an unseen blessing. You may not understand it now, but one day you will look back and say, thank goodness that happened. It brought me home to myself. I have watched countless souls bloom from seasons they once cursed. They lost what they thought they needed, only to find what they truly were. They discovered that peace was never outside of them. It was waiting beneath the rubble of resistance. So, my dear, do not fear the heaviness. Welcome it as the sacred sculptor it is. The clay does not curse the hands that shape it. It trusts that something beautiful will emerge. You are being shaped right now by love disguised as pressure. Each tear, each sigh, each moment you choose not to give up adds to your becoming. You are gathering strength in unseen places. You are building the foundation for your rising. You may not see it yet, but life is already preparing your wings. Close your eyes for a moment and take a slow, deep breath. Feel the weight in your chest, not as pain, but as presence. It means you are alive, still breathing, still capable of change. Whisper softly, I trust that this heaviness has purpose. Heaviness will come and go throughout life, but its meaning will change as you do. What once felt unbearable will one day feel sacred. You will thank the very seasons that brought you to your knees, for they taught you how to rise with grace. Before we end this part, I want you to place your hand over your heart and say, I bless this weight. I bless this moment. I bless the me that is becoming. Feel those words sink in. The blessing you give to your heaviness transforms it from burden into teacher. You are not alone in this labor of the soul. Every being that has ever grown has walked through their own heaviness. But you, dear one, have something precious within you, the willingness to see it differently. That willingness is the first light of dawn. So let the heaviness stay for as long as it needs to teach you. Let it carve space in your heart for new joy. Let it remind you that pressure is how diamonds are born. You are in the sacred process of becoming radiant. I bless you now in your becoming. I bless the weight that strengthens you, the stillness that restores you, and the love that will one day shine through you. The heaviness you feel today is not a curse. It is the hand of life shaping you for the light that awaits. I have learned that the greatest heaviness we carry does not live in the body, but in the mind. The body tires, yes, but the weight that truly exhausts us is the one created by thoughts we refuse to release. We tell ourselves stories that no longer serve us, and then wonder why every step feels like wading through mud. For many years, I lived inside such stories. I clung to old identities like armor. I believed that if I could just keep everything the same, I would finally feel safe. But safety built on control is a fragile illusion. The more I tried to hold my life together, the heavier it became. Resistance is the hand that squeezes until love cannot breathe. Resistance is often mistaken for strength. We say, I can handle this, even as our hearts break under the pressure. We think letting go means losing, so we grip tighter. Yet the truth is that release is the only act strong enough to end the struggle. The tree does not cling to every leaf in autumn. It trusts that new ones will come. When I resisted change, life pushed harder. The same lessons appeared in new forms, different faces, different places, same pain. It was as if the universe whispered, you can surrender willingly, or you can surrender eventually, but surrender you must. I learned that peace begins not when life becomes easy, but when we stop fighting what is. I once believed that control would protect me. I believed if I could just plan everything perfectly, I could avoid pain. But control is a cage disguised as security. It keeps you locked inside the familiar, even as your soul longs to fly. True safety comes not from holding on, but from trusting that life holds you. Letting go felt impossible at first. My mind argued, if I stop trying, everything will fall apart. But I discovered that what falls apart under surrender was never stable to begin with. What remains after release is what was real all along. The collapse I feared turned out to be the foundation of peace. Resistance is like holding your breath. It keeps you from the natural rhythm of life. You can only hold it for so long before the body begs for release. The exhale is not failure, it is renewal. The same is true for the soul. Every moment you soften your grip, You breathe life back into your being. Say softly now, I let go with love. Again, I trust that what leaves makes room for what is right. Feel the way your shoulders respond, the subtle loosening of tension. Even your cells understand this truth. The body listens to your willingness more than your worry. When we cling to what has ended, life grows heavy. The relationship we refuse to release, the role that no longer fits, the old version of ourselves that no longer feels true, all of them weigh on the heart. The soul, by its nature, seeks expansion, but fear builds walls around it. I remember one season when I resisted the closing of a chapter. I kept trying to revive what had clearly run its course. Each attempt drained me until I was too tired to pretend. The day I finally said enough, I expected grief, but what I felt was relief. The air around me changed, space returned, the weight I'd been dragging vanished in an instant. Letting go does not mean we stop caring. It means we stop trying to control outcomes that were never ours to command. It means trusting that what is truly ours cannot be lost. Life, in its wisdom, never takes without preparing to give something new, but the hands that clutch cannot receive. Many people have asked me, Louise, how do I let go? I tell them, you begin with willingness. You do not have to know how. The how belongs to life. You need only whisper, I am willing to be free. That tiny sentence opens the door. The universe rushes in through that crack. In my workshops, I watch students grow lighter, not through effort, but through forgiveness. They thought they were there to heal their bodies, but what truly healed them was releasing resentment. Forgiveness is not about condoning, it is about freeing the self from the poison of the past. Each time you forgive, you lift a stone from your heart. I remember a woman who came to me burdened by anger toward her father. She said, I can't forgive him. I told her, you don't have to forgive yet, just be willing. That willingness began her healing. Weeks later she returned and said, the pain is less. That is how life works. It meets you at your willingness. The body mirrors resistance. Shoulders tighten from unspoken burdens. The stomach knots from worry. The jaw clenches from words left unsaid. Every ache is the body's way of saying, please release me. When we refuse to let go emotionally, the body carries what the heart cannot. Healing begins when we listen to its plea. I often guide people through a simple exercise. Take a deep breath, hold it for a moment, and then exhale as slowly as you can. With that exhale, imagine releasing one fear, one memory, one piece of pain. Feel your body grow lighter. The breath you release is symbolic of every moment you choose peace over pressure. Letting go is not a single event. It is a daily practice. Each morning, life invites you to loosen your grip a little more, to forgive once again, to trust once again, to breathe once again. With each repetition, you reclaim another piece of your freedom. I learned that resistance often hides under the disguise of responsibility. We say, if I don't carry it, who will? But the truth is, the world does not need our control. It needs our trust. When we try to manage everything, we block the very help we long for. The divine cannot move through hands that refuse to open. You may be carrying old versions of yourself out of habit. You may still be fighting battles that ended long ago. The heaviness you feel today may not belong to the present moment at all. It may be the echo of an old story. The moment you realize this, you are free to choose differently. Say softly, I choose peace instead of struggle. I choose release instead of control. Each affirmation weakens the roots of resistance. Over time, they dissolve completely, and in their place grows the lightness of faith. I once asked a group of students to write a list of what they were ready to release. Some wrote anger, others fear, others the need to please. We burned those papers together as a symbol of release. When the smoke rose, so did their spirits. The air in the room felt lighter, and I could see it in their faces. Freedom always glows. Forgiveness is the greatest form of letting go. When you forgive yourself, you stop dragging the weight of yesterday into today. You stop demanding perfection and begin allowing humanity. And when you forgive others, you free yourself from the chain that ties you to their behavior. Forgiveness restores flow where resentment built walls. Sometimes people say to me, I want to let go, but I don't know what's next. I remind them that you cannot reach for the new while your hands still cling to the old. The unknown is not your enemy, it is your future waiting to unfold. The same life that guided you this far will guide you into what's next. Every ending has within it a quiet mercy. The door that closes is not rejection, it is redirection. Life is not taking something from you, it is taking you somewhere new. And though the transition feels heavy, that weight is simply the momentum of transformation. The more I let go, the lighter I became. I no longer carried the need to be right, the need to be seen, the need to be perfect. The air around me softened. The world responded differently because my energy had changed. Life mirrors our state of being. When we release, life releases with us. I once heard a man say, if I let go of my pain, who will I be? I smiled gently and said, you will be free. We fear release because we have built identity from struggle. But the truth is, the real self does not need pain to feel alive. It needs peace. You will never lose yourself by letting go. You will only lose what was never truly you. Let this be your reminder. You are allowed to exhale. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to release. You are not abandoning responsibility. You are aligning with reality. Life does not punish release. It rewards it with grace. Try this now. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, whisper, I let go with love. Again, I let go with love. Each exhale is a soft goodbye to all that no longer belongs. Each breath is a small resurrection. The soul grows lighter, one release at a time. The moment you stop resisting, peace rises naturally. You do not have to search for it. It has been waiting beneath the surface of your struggle, like air trapped underwater. The instant you stop holding yourself down, your peace rushes upward. It does not need to be created. It needs only to be allowed. Life flows toward ease. This is its nature. The rivers do not force themselves forward. They move with gravity, with grace. You too are meant to flow. Every time you let go of what blocks you, anger, control, regret, you return to your natural rhythm with life. So if life feels heavy today, ask gently, what am I holding that I no longer need? Listen without judgment. The answer may come as a memory, a feeling, or a simple sigh. Whatever it is, bless it for what it taught you, then let it leave. You are not failing by releasing. You are growing. You are not weak for resting. You are wise. You are not losing by surrendering. You are gaining your peace back. That is what letting go gives us, the lightness that reveals who we truly are. Let us close this part together. Take one slow breath. On the inhale, whisper, I trust life. On the exhale, whisper, I let go. Feel the soft rhythm between them, the inhale of faith, the exhale of freedom. This is the rhythm of the universe, the pulse of creation itself. And as you rest in that rhythm, remember, you were never meant to carry everything. You were meant to allow, to trust, to breathe, to flow. When you stop resisting, the whole world begins to carry you forward with love. There is a sacred stillness that arrives after release. It is quiet, unfamiliar, and easily mistaken for emptiness. Many people fear this stillness because they think it means something has gone wrong, but it has not. It is the holy pause between what was and what is about to be the silence, where new life gathers strength. I remember a time when I had let go of nearly everything, my plans, my certainty, my control. I felt as though I were suspended between worlds. Nothing was moving, yet something deep inside was stirring. That stillness was not a void, it was a womb. I did not yet see it, but new life was already forming within me. We have been taught to measure worth by motion, to believe that doing means progress and stillness means stagnation, but life does not rush. Even the seasons wait. The winter may seem barren, but beneath the soil, roots are expanding. The tree may appear lifeless, yet every cell is preparing for spring. The same is true for you. When you find yourself in a pause, when nothing seems to grow, remember that the unseen world is always at work. What looks like delay is often divine timing, arranging itself perfectly. You are being prepared for what you asked for, and preparation requires stillness. I learned this through experience. There were times I begged for answers that did not come. I thought life was silent. But later, I saw that the silence had been an answer itself. It was saying, be patient, the soil is not yet ready. When I stopped demanding and started trusting, clarity arrived quietly, as though it had been waiting for my calm. It is in these pauses that faith is born. Anyone can trust life when things move quickly, but it takes courage to trust when everything stands still. That is where true strength is formed, when you can rest in uncertainty and still say, I am safe in divine timing. Repeat those words softly now. I am safe in divine timing. Feel how they soothe the body. The mind may still resist, wanting to hurry the process, but the soul knows no haste. It moves according to eternity, not urgency. The pauses you resent are the spaces where miracles mature. I remember one long winter of my life when nothing seemed to bloom. Every effort I made led nowhere. I felt forgotten by the universe, but when spring finally came, it brought blessings so vast that I understood why the waiting was necessary. My roots had been growing stronger in silence, anchoring me for what was to come. We call it waiting, but in truth, we are never waiting, we are ripening. Life is arranging everything behind the curtain of time. The right people, opportunities, and moments are all aligning, but like seeds underground, they need warmth, darkness, and trust to emerge. The pause teaches humility. It shows us that we are not the source of all motion. We are participants in a larger rhythm. When you stop forcing and start flowing, you discover that life carries you farther than effort ever could. Divine order never forgets you, it simply perfects its timing. I once asked myself, if I truly trusted life, how would I feel right now? The answer was peace. So I decided to act as though I trusted even when I did not. I slowed my breath. I placed my hand over my heart and whispered, everything unfolds when I am ready. Over time, I found that this truth always revealed itself. We often think our lives should move in straight lines, but life moves in cycles, like the moon, like the tides. There is rising and falling, expansion and contraction. Both are necessary. The inhale and the exhale, the growth and the rest. The pause is simply the breath between blessings. I have met people who thought their lives were over simply because they had entered this stillness. They said, I feel numb, I feel lost. I told them, you are not lost, you are being recalibrated. The silence you fear is your soul reorienting itself toward light. Stillness is not absence, it is alignment. Patience is faith in motion. It is the willingness to sit beside uncertainty and call it teacher. When you stop trying to rush your healing, healing deepens on its own. The pause is where old wounds knit closed, where the heart remembers how to trust its own rhythm again. I often tell people you cannot hurry the sunrise. No matter how you plead, the dawn will not arrive before its time, but you can prepare for it. You can sweep your porch, open your windows, ready your heart to receive the light. That is what the pause invites you to do, to ready yourself for what is already on its way. Say softly, "Everything unfolds when I am ready." Again, "I am safe in divine timing." Each repetition is an offering of patience. Every word plants a seed of peace. The more you repeat it, the more your nervous system begins to trust what the soul already knows. In this space, you may feel lonely. You may miss the noise of the old life you released. But remember, silence is not emptiness, it is clarity. In the quiet, you begin to hear yourself again. The voice that once competed with the world's expectations becomes audible. It whispers, "This is who you really are." If you can learn to love this stillness, it will become your greatest ally. You will stop fearing slow seasons. You will stop forcing answers. You will rest in the knowing that life moves through you, not against you. And when the time for action returns, it will arise from peace, not panic. I have watched people emerge from these pauses transformed. One woman told me, "I thought my waiting meant nothing was happening, but now I see I was being remade." Her pause had taught her to listen deeply, to move deliberately, to trust completely. She no longer feared silence. It had become her home. You see, stillness is the bridge between endings and beginnings. The caterpillar rests within its cocoon, dissolving what once was so that flight can begin. The stillness is not death, it is creation in disguise. What feels like nothing is actually everything taking shape. The mind does not like this space because it cannot control it. It cannot predict or plan. But the heart understands it perfectly. The heart knows that no growth can happen without intervals of rest. The tree that never stops reaching eventually breaks. The one that pauses in winter endures. If you are in such a pause now, bless it. Place your hand on your heart and say, "This stillness is sacred. This is where I'm becoming." Feel how your breath slows. The body relaxes when you stop demanding progress and begin trusting process. When I finally learned to stop rushing, I noticed beauty in places I had never seen before. The way light touched the floor in the afternoon, the rhythm of my own breath, the quiet intelligence of nature which never hurries yet accomplishes everything. The pause teaches us to live in harmony with that same intelligence. Waiting becomes unbearable only when we forget its purpose. You are not idle. You are incubating. Every moment of stillness is gathering the strength required for the next unfolding. When life feels quiet, imagine roots expanding, unseen but essential. Let us pause together for a moment now. Take a slow, deep breath. As you inhale, imagine gathering strength. As you exhale, release the need to know what comes next. Feel the calm that follows. That is what trust feels like, peace without proof. One day soon, movement will return. Opportunities will appear. The heaviness will lift. And when it does, you will realize how much you have grown within the stillness. You will step into the new with grace, because the pause taught you to move from alignment instead of anxiety. So if you find yourself in that silent space, do not call it waiting, call it preparing. Bless it as the womb of your next creation. Let stillness do its quiet work. Nothing is lost, nothing is wasted. Everything is rearranging itself for your highest good. Repeat after me. I trust the stillness. I honor divine timing. I am becoming whole in the quiet. These are the words that transform loneliness into peace, restlessness into faith. And as you breathe these words, imagine yourself as fertile soil, soft, rich, and ready. Beneath the surface, unseen seeds are stirring. You may not yet see the green, but it is coming. The pause before the rising is not the end of your story. It is the breath before your bloom. There is a hidden light inside every weight we carry. At first, it is hard to see. for heaviness tends to draw the eyes downward. But when we begin to look gently, not with judgment, but with curiosity, we realize that the load we bear often conceals the very glow we have been seeking. Pain, when met with love, reveals power. I once believed that the only way to prove my worth was to work harder, to give more, to carry everything and everyone. I mistook exhaustion for virtue. I thought if I stayed strong enough, no one would leave, nothing would fall apart. But I was wrong. What I called strength was fear in disguise, the fear of being unneeded, unseen, unloved. Many of us learn to equate struggle with goodness. We were taught that rest is laziness and ease is indulgence. We inherited the belief that love must hurt, that responsibility means self-denial. But love that drains is not love, it is sacrifice misunderstood. True love uplifts both the giver and the receiver. It never demands your depletion. I remember the day I realized this truth. I was sitting at my desk after a long day of helping others. My body ached, my spirit felt dim. I had spoken words of comfort to everyone but myself. That night, as I lay in bed, a quiet thought came. What if caring for myself is also service to life? That thought changed everything. The body holds wisdom that the mind forgets. When it feels heavy, it is not betraying you, it is trying to get your attention. It whispers, you have carried enough. Each ache is a message, each fatigue a prayer for mercy. The weight we feel is not a sign of weakness, but an invitation to honor our limits with compassion. When I began to honor my body, I found that life itself responded. The more I rested, the more clarity I received. The less I pushed, the more easily things fell into place. I discovered that peace accomplishes more than pressure ever could. Rest is not the opposite of productivity. It is its foundation. We have been trained to glorify busyness, to wear tiredness like a badge of honor, but there is no holiness in burnout. The divine does not need your suffering, it needs your presence. You serve life best, not by exhausting yourself, but by keeping your inner light strong. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. You must fill your own first. So many of us carry invisible burdens, guilt that we should have done more, shame for what we could not fix, responsibility for pain that was never ours to hold. We call this loyalty, but it is bondage. Love does not require you to carry everyone else's healing. Love invites you to embody peace so that others remember it is possible. Say softly, it is safe to rest. Again, I am worthy of ease. One more time. Life supports me when I soften. Feel those words melt tension in your shoulders. The mind may whisper, but I can't stop now. Tell it gently, yes, I can. The world will not collapse because I rest. It will balance because I do. There is a difference between giving from fullness and giving from emptiness. When you give from fullness, it feels like joy. Energy flows freely. When you give from emptiness, it feels like obligation. Energy drains. The world benefits most from the overflow of a peaceful heart, not the sacrifice of a weary one. I remember one woman from my workshops who spent her whole life caring for everyone else. She came to me trembling with exhaustion, saying, I can't stop helping. If I do, who will? I told her, my dear, you cannot help anyone while dying of depletion. When she finally allowed herself to rest, her family said she seemed to shine again. That shine was her true gift all along. You do not have to carry what life never asked you to. The world does not need another martyr. It needs living examples of balance, peace, and self-approval. Every time you choose gentleness over guilt, you lift not only yourself, but everyone who witnesses your choice. Light spreads by example, not by effort. Gratitude is the great lightener of all burdens. When I began thanking life even for my heaviness, something miraculous happened. The weight did not disappear overnight, but it began to feel different, softer, almost luminous. Gratitude transforms load into lesson. It reveals that even struggle carries grace. When you say thank you for this moment, even when it aches, you open the door for transformation. You shift from resistance to receptivity. You allow life to show you what the pain is trying to teach. Gratitude turns every challenge into a sacred classroom. One night, while reflecting on a particularly heavy season, I looked in the mirror and whispered, "You've done enough for today." My reflection seemed to exhale with me. For years I had sought permission to rest from others, from results, from success. That night, I realized I was the only one who could grant it. This is a simple but powerful practice I invite you to try. The end of each day, stand before your mirror, look softly into your eyes, not to judge, but to recognize. Say gently, "You've done enough for today. You may rest now." Feel the relief in your chest, the release in your spine. Self-kindness is the doorway through which healing enters. The light you seek outside has always lived inside. It hides beneath layers of duty, guilt, and fatigue. When you begin to peel those layers away, the light does not arrive, it is revealed. The same sun that shines beyond the clouds was there all along. Your only task is to stop mistaking the clouds for the sky. You may wonder, how do I put the weight down? Begin with a small willingness. You can say, "I am willing to release one burden today." You don't have to name it. Life knows. The act of willingness loosens what fear once clenched. Soon you will feel lighter, not because everything changed, but because you did. There is immense wisdom in knowing when to stop, not because you are weak, but because you are wise enough to listen. The bird does not fly forever. It lands to rest its wings. You, too, deserve pauses. Your soul was never meant to live in constant flight. It was meant to soar, then settle, then soar again. Peace is not laziness. It is mastery. It is the art of moving when guided and resting when called. Life flows easily through those who listen. When you honor your rhythms, you move with the current of creation itself. You stop dragging the river and let it carry you instead. I know that guilt may still try to return. It may whisper, "Others are working harder. You should do more." But you are not here to compete in exhaustion. You are here to remember that your being is enough. The greatest contribution you can make is the vibration of peace you bring into each room. Every act done in balance blesses the world. The meal cooked with love, the letter written with patience, the quiet smile offered in forgiveness. These are the ways light multiplies through you. It does not come from doing everything. It comes from doing what aligns with love. I often remind people, life is not meant to be carried, it is meant to be lived. The moment you stop grasping for control, the load becomes lighter. You begin to see that half the weight was your resistance to the idea of letting go. Freedom begins in thought before it reaches circumstance. Try saying this now: "I am willing to live with ease." Again, "I am willing to let life be gentle with me." Let the words sink into your heart. They are not indulgence, they are remembrance. Ease is not the absence of responsibility, it is the presence of trust. As I softened into this way of living, I began to notice how life responded. Solutions appeared without struggle. The right people arrived without pursuit. Even the body began to heal when I stopped demanding perfection from it. Life loves to cooperate with those who cooperate with themselves. If you could see yourself as life sees you, you would never doubt your worth again. You would understand that your only task is to allow the light within you to shine freely. Every act of self-care polishes that light. Every moment of gratitude brightens it. You have carried so much for so long. Let this moment be the one where you set it down, place your hand on your heart and whisper, "It is safe to rest. I am worthy of ease. Life supports me when I soften." Feel the truth of it vibrate through your chest. That vibration is freedom returning. From this softness, miracles are born. When the heart relaxes, guidance becomes clear. Inspiration flows like air through open windows. You no longer force life to move, you allow it. And what enters is always better than what exhaustion could create. Let us take one more breath together. Inhale deeply, drawing light into the spaces that feel heavy. Exhale gently, letting go of everything that does not belong. With each breath, you become lighter, freer, brighter. The load turns into light, and the light begins to lead. The strength you thought came from struggle was only a shadow of the true strength that comes from surrender. You have nothing left to prove. Your worth was never measured by your endurance, but by your existence. You are not meant to be a beast of burden. You are meant to be a vessel of love. So bless the weight that once bowed your shoulders. It taught you where your boundaries live. It showed you the cost of forgetting yourself. And now that you know, you can live differently. You can live lighter, softer, truer. May you remember this always. The light within you does not grow by striving. It grows by shining. And it shines brightest when you finally give yourself permission to rest. There comes a day when the heaviness begins to lift. Not all at once, but quietly, like dawn spreading across a tired sky. You notice it first in small ways, a lighter breath, a softer thought, a moment of calm where anxiety once lived. This is how healing enters, not with thunder, but with tenderness. I remember the first morning after one of my hardest seasons. I woke before the sun, and for the first time in months, my heart felt still, not ecstatic, not triumphant, simply still. I realized that peace does not arrive as fireworks. It arrives as permission to breathe again. That stillness was the sound of my soul saying, "We made it." Every burden you have carried is teaching you something about your strength. You may not recognize it yet, but each struggle has been refining you. The pressure that once felt unbearable has shaped your spirit into something resilient, graceful, and deeply compassionate. When you look back, you will see that the pain did not destroy you, it revealed you. It peeled away layers of pretense until all that remained was truth. And truth, my dear, is light. It cannot be dimmed by circumstance. It shines precisely because of what it has endured. I have come to see that rising is not a single act. It is a way of being. It is the quiet decision you make each morning to keep your heart open, no matter how many times it has been broken. It is the choice to see the gift within every loss, the lesson within every delay. You have already begun to rise. Every moment you chose peace over panic, faith over fear, gentleness over judgment, you rose. Every time you forgave yourself, you rose. Every breath you took when your chest felt too tight to expand, that was rising too. The climb is made of such moments, not of miracles. The dawn that follows heaviness feels different because you are different. The same sun that once burned now warms. The same world that once felt harsh now reveals its softness. Life does not change. Perception does. And perception transforms everything. I often tell people when you change the way you look at your pain changes shape. The mountain you once feared becomes the ground that elevates you. The obstacle becomes the staircase. The weight becomes the very reason you can stand taller now. There were times I thought my joy would never return, but joy, like spring, never truly disappears. It simply waits for the heart to thaw. The first time I laughed again after sorrow, I cried with gratitude. It felt like sunlight on cold skin. Joy had not left me. I had just been too burdened to feel it. Healing rarely announces itself. One day you realize the thought that once hurt you no longer does. The memory that once pierced you now brings peace. You notice that your shoulders have dropped, that your breath is steady, that you no longer wake in dread. This quiet transformation is the rising. As you rise, you will notice how compassion deepens. The very pain that broke you open becomes the reason you can now love more deeply. Those who have known heaviness carry a softness that cannot be faked. They listen without judgment because they remember what it feels like to be fragile. I have met many souls who once cursed their hardships and now bless them. They say, "It made me kinder. It taught me patience. It showed me what matters." This is the secret. Suffering, when met with awareness, becomes wisdom. Pain that is faced becomes purpose. Say softly, "I rise with ease." Again, life is lifting me now. And again, I trust the light returning. Let the repetition build a rhythm inside you. The heart heals through rhythm, through breath, through affirmation, through the gentle music of faith, repeated until it becomes truth. You may still feel fragile. That is natural. After all, even a flower bends slightly after the rain. Do not confuse tenderness with weakness. It takes strength to remain open in a world that once hurt you. Your softness is proof that love has triumphed over fear. Imagine your life as a garden after a storm. The soil is damp, heavy, but rich. The petals droop for a moment, but beneath the surface, new roots are anchoring. The heaviness that remains is nourishment. It feeds the blossoms yet to bloom. In my own garden, I often see how nature teaches patience. After rain, I do not pull at the flowers to help them rise. I let them find their own strength. The same applies to you. Do not rush your recovery. Trust that life knows when to unfold you again. No suffering is wasted when met with awareness. Every tear has watered something sacred. Every setback has shaped your humility. Every heartache has expanded your capacity to love. What once felt unbearable is now the soil of your wisdom. You carry the lessons of the storm in the calmness of your smile. There was a time when I feared that my pain had ruined me, but life showed me that nothing is truly lost. Every fragment of who I was has become part of who I am now. The cracks let light in, and through that light, I see differently. What I once called damage, I now call design. You, too, will come to see your past not as a chain, but as a mosaic, a work of art formed from broken pieces, now illuminated by grace. Every shadow in your story adds depth to your light. Without contrast, the brightness could not be seen. Say this gently with me. I trust the light returning. I bless my past for how it shaped me. I allow joy to find me again. These are not simply affirmations, they are declarations of rebirth. Each word is a seed that will bloom in its own time. When I look at those who have walked through deep sorrow and emerged radiant, I see the beauty of divine order. The universe never wastes an experience. What you have endured has given you eyes that can see truth, hands that can heal, and a heart that understands. As you rise, notice how life begins to meet you differently. The right people appear, opportunities unfold naturally. The same doors that once stayed closed now open with ease. The outer world reflects your inner light, for you have become the energy you once sought. There is no need to push anymore. What is meant for you will recognize your peace and come willingly. The river does not chase the ocean, it flows into it. Your path is not about chasing, but allowing. You are being carried toward everything meant for you. I often close my workshops by reminding people that healing is not about becoming someone new, it is about remembering who you have always been. The pain stripped away what was false. What remains is your essence, whole, radiant, divine. Breathe deeply now. Inhale light, exhale the remnants of old sorrow. Feel your body adjusting to this new freedom. The soul expands to match its faith. With every breath, whisper, I am whole, I am safe, I am loved. The body listens, the mind listens, life listens. Sometimes people ask me, how will I know when I've healed? I tell them, when peace feels more familiar than pain, that day will come. You will wake up one morning and realize you no longer brace yourself for disappointment. You will look at your reflection and see not a survivor, but a being of light. You have not become hardened by what you endured. You have become refined. The same fire that once burned you now glows within you as warmth. You are the living proof that the human spirit cannot be destroyed. It can only be reborn. Say softly now, the heaviness has served its purpose. I am rising in peace. Feel how your chest expands with that truth. Every exhale is a farewell to struggle. Every inhale is a welcome to freedom. The rhythm of breath becomes the rhythm of rebirth. I bless the path that brought you here, the tears, the silences, the waiting. They all conspired to bring you to this moment of awareness. You are standing on sacred ground, for the soil of suffering has turned into the soil of strength. The weight that once bent your back has become wings. You can feel it now, can't you? The lightness stirring, the quiet joy returning. You are not the same person who entered the darkness. You are wiser, kinder, freer. You have seen what cannot be unseen, that love never leaves, even in the darkest night. So rise, dear one, not in haste, not in arrogance, but in peace. Rise the way dawn rises, inevitable, patient, and gentle. Rise with gratitude for all that shaped you. Rise knowing you are supported by life itself. And as you rise, bless the world with the lessons you've learned. Speak kindly, forgive freely, love deeply. Let your presence remind others that light returns, that peace is possible, that every burden hides a blessing waiting to bloom. Let us close together now. Place your hand over your heart and breathe. Whisper, I have risen, I am whole, I carry only love. Feel the warmth in your palm that is your light, awakened and alive. It will guide you forward through every new chapter. The heaviness was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to teach you how to rise. And now you have. I bless you as you step into this next season, lighter, freer, radiant with understanding. May every step be guided by peace. May every word carry grace. And may you remember, always, that life's weight was only love in disguise, shaping you into the light you now are.